This is The Great Outdoors with Jason White, exploring the great outdoors in Pennsylvania and beyond. Brought to you by the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association and by Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. Now, The Great Outdoors with Jason White.
Hello friends, this is Jason White. Welcome to the Great Outdoors. It is a soggy, wet day here in southwestern Pennsylvania. I hope you're staying safe. I know there was a lot of flooding issues everywhere, and I guess that's Mother Nature's way of cleaning out and unclogging the streams, waterways, roads, etc. But we're going to jump right into it. Special thanks to our sponsors, the Mariana Outdoorsman Association. You can join the MOA today at marianaoutdoors.com. Again, marianaoutdoors.com. Also, Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. If you'd like to book a spring turkey hunt, we still have a few available. In the fall, we have whitetail hunts, all free-ranging, no fence. Come check us out. And also in the fall, we'll be doing upland bird hunts again. 10mileco.org. Again, that's 10mileco.org. Or you can call us at 724-579-0924. And last but not least, special thanks to the Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency. Please visit Washington County, Pennsylvania. We're going to go over some events real quick. I had to make some adjustments to our trout stalking schedule due to this high water, which I'm sure everybody's kind of experiencing in major parts of, I would say, the tri-state area. So instead of stalking this Thursday, we are now going to be stalking Saturday at 9 a.m. Again, that is this Saturday, 9 a.m. We will be meeting at Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds, 1997 Morey Road, Clarksville, Pennsylvania, 15322. Again, trout stalking this Saturday, 9 a.m., and also it is opening day of trout season here in the state of Pennsylvania. Saturday, April 20th and the 21st, it'll be our long-range hunter class. If you'd like any information about that, or if you're interested in doing I would say a trip out west or any opportunity that you're going to be shooting far distances, I'd highly recommend checking that out. Saturday, April 20th and 21st. Again, that's on the Mariana Outdoorsman Association's Facebook page, also on our website at marianaoutdoors.com. Love to have you. May, we're going to have a trout stalking on Thursday, May 2nd at 3 p.m. From that point in time, Thursday at 3 p.m. until May 4th at 5 p.m., the stream will be closed. We will be having the PA Trout Classic. It is sold out. Again, the PA Trout Classic is sold out. All the positions are full. That will take place May 3rd and May 4th. I will personally be reaching out to every participant, going over rules, regulations, etc., but really excited about this event and looking forward to an awesome turnout. Saturday, July 13th at 9 a.m., it'll be the annual golf outing. That will be at Cedarbrook Golf Course, and that is a collaboration between the Mariana Outdoorsman Association and also the Fayette County Farm Bureau. Really looking forward to that as well. I wanted to first start off with this high water event that's taking place right now. I think it's very, very important to kind of discuss the importance of these events and also, just some other things in regards to, I would say, litter control, etc. But, these events usually happen every couple years, if not annually. And it's Mother Nature's way of kind of cleaning out any debris, etc., naturally occurring in our streams and waterways. But what's super, super important, I cannot stress this enough, this is why storm drains along your roadways, etc., making sure that human litter and whatnot is not blockading or clogging up anything in a negative way, and because it can drastically have negative implications on public safety. I know that just today on the way to the radio station, there were numerous places where the storm drains were completely blocked. And I know that numerous places that looked like there was some trash and debris that was kind of on the side of the road that ended up diverting the water out into the roadway. So just be sure to make a mental note that even the littlest things you might not think can be a big deal can end up causing somebody to hydroplane, pushing water out into a waterway, or for that matter, you might think that your picnic tables, picnic or chairs, trash cans, etc., that are only maybe 50 or 100 foot from a stream. Maybe that's not a big deal, but judging by what all the materials I saw floating down the river today, there's definitely a lot of people's stuff that was a little too close to the floodway. So just in the future, be cautious and conscientious of that. It's not that big of a deal to pull it back out of the waterway, or at least I should say the floodway, because clearly seeing all the debris going down the stream today was a little disheartening, but clearly crazy things do happen. But just be cautious and conscientious in the future. Do not, if you can pull stuff out of the floodway, please do, especially when you know there's a storm coming. Like I said, judging by what I saw floating down the river today on the way here, a lot of people are going to be missing some items. I want to dive into, on the last episode, I brought up about the quail stalking program that's kind of getting some little bit of legs out in, I believe it's the center part of Pennsylvania. And I found a newspaper article that I thought was fascinating that I really wanted to go over because it piggybacks on the discussion. A lot of things as to why our pheasant program in Pennsylvania is the way it is, why the quail program, not only quail in general, but also the quail stalking program has plummeted. I got some statistics here that I thought were just absolutely fascinating. So in 2023, the Pennsylvania Game Commission, and this is an article, it was written by the Republican Herald Sports and Outdoors section, March 30th, 2024. Some statistics that they got from the Pennsylvania Game Commission. But in 2023, the Pennsylvania Game Commission claimed to have stalked 224,196 birds with an estimated cost of approximately $4.3 million, or roughly $19.50 per pheasant. That is an astronomical number. When I say an astronomical number, that $19.50 per pheasant is way high. Like literally much higher than it would cost a bulk pheasant farm or a game bird farm to raise these birds. I would say that it could be done for at least half of that at a game farm. So right there, that was a glaring thing, which I do not understand why their costs are so high internally. I would love to get some additional information about this, but that $19.50 per bird is a huge number. So there's a red flag. Additionally, last year there were 56,252 pheasant stamps sold at $26.90, totaling approximately $1.4 million. So that being said, the pheasant program in the state of Pennsylvania had a $2.8 million approximate loss that had to be supplemented from the general license fund, which is a fascinating number or numbers, and I was blown away by them. And I do not understand, number one, how these pheasants are costing so much money, because these numbers are through the roof. And number two, taking such a monumental loss, I also think is a clear concern. And the next part of this that I thought was mind-blowing to me is there's a statistic where the Game Commission's reporting that so basically to cover costs, so like let's just take this into account, this pheasant stamp is $26.90, and based upon total cost versus total revenue, realistically, a pheasant stamp to just break even with what the Game Commission's costs are at this ridiculously high pheasant price is $77.72 per hunter. That being said, out of all the birds that are stalked, the Game Commission is reporting that approximately 50% are harvested. This is mind-blowing to me because in this article it kind of highlights some of the attributing reasons, but numerous times it goes over about the fact that there are predators. And I am mind blown, absolutely mind blown, that number one, the cost per bird is $19.50. That is astronomically high. And number two, we are literally almost $3 million in a hole for our program. So the question is, do you figure out more ways to get more hunters out in the woods? Number one. Number two, do you figure out better ways to promote your program and what you're doing? That's number two. Number three, is the stamp high enough, low enough, where you are? Clearly, if you're losing almost $3 million and it's a failing program, that's concerning. The last piece of the puzzle is a 50% harvest rate, and the concerns over predation. That is so. I've talked a lot about in the past about predators and the trapping prices in Pennsylvania, and kind of like how this is all correlated into one big, I would say, interconnected network. The thing is how would I want to say this? The predators are, I've stressed this on past shows. I cannot stress this enough right now. These statistics right here back up what I'm saying. Yes, there's a lot of data that needs to be added as far as this conversation is concerned. But to be in the hole that we're in financially, to see the lack of engagement, or even that matter, are we stocking at the right times? Are we stocking appropriately? How are we managing? What is the return on investment for how we're doing this? Why are we not stocking quail in greater abundance? I can tell you, I want to just pull out the one piece of this conversation about the predators. Until we address predators at game lands, and I'm speaking from personal experience, so have a game preserve, no fence, all that kind of stuff. I think it is, how do I want to say this? If you do not manage the predators from experience, last January I had 10 hawks circling the property. That's number one. So you're talking about an apex predator, or depending on who you ask, it's at the pretty much at the top of the food chain. So if you're putting out these birds with any intentions of them surviving, there's threat number one from above. I've highlighted in the past about when reproduction comes into play, about the different species, whether that's possums, skunks, different species of fox, and even coyotes that will go and raid nests. Additionally, fox and also coyotes will kill pheasants and quail, full size for sure. There's concerns that I have over the lack of oversight of the impact or implications of predators when it's coming to these programs. So like the fact that we are supplementing out of the game fund $2.8 million to keep this program going, and we're not doing anything to manage the predators, to me is absolutely mind-blowing. We are basically putting this out for food. And whenever you look at some of the statistics, and I just saw this today actually, this was a recent pelt sale here in the state of Pennsylvania. To back up what I was saying earlier, coyotes right now, it just recently went on the market for $5.14. Gray fox, $9. Possum, $1. Raccoon, $3.94. Red fox, $7.19, and skunk, $5.87. This is a huge problem because it's not engaging people to even be interested about trapping. So when you talk about the reproduction opportunities for any of these birds, whether it is pheasants, which are not a native species but were introduced in the late 1800s in the United States. And when you also look at quail, which are a native bird, habitat is its own piece of the puzzle. Habitat is a critical piece of the puzzle when it comes to when we're talking about things such as grain areas, different habitats zones for the birds. We had a lot less trees 100 years ago because agriculture was such a prominent piece. You know, a lot of people lived off their land, truly did. But also back then, people were trapping in much, much higher abundance, not only for just the protection of their land, but also in regards to furs were worth a lot more money. You know, whether that was somebody making a fur coat, whether that was somebody making a fur hat, doesn't really matter. Right now, to hear somebody say they have a trap line running around their farm is basically few and far between. It's concerning. It is. These numbers and statistics from the Game Commission are glaring to this fact. Not only that, I just want to stress the fact that when hawks are federally caught for depredation reasons, so for example, like I've actually been through this myself. I was required to catch hawks in these like basket style traps so they're not injured. And then basically you have to take them to the Pittsburgh International Airport to get banded. And then the Game Commission wants you to then take the hawks to the game lands where the pheasants are being stalked. It's a completely bonkers philosophy. I do not understand how we got into this situation with our predator management. It's just not a good. It's just not a good situation at all. No matter how you shake a stick at it, and I just cannot stress it enough that we are in a very precarious time right now, and we all need to like have a really hard. I don't even want to call it a hard conversation. We need to look at this of how do we truly fix it? How do we truly manage things to not only be reproductive, but also how do we look at it from the perspective of how do we address a problem with solutions? And right now, we're not addressing any of our solutions, or rather our problems. We're sitting here, like I said, I'm reading from this article in regards to the fact that we're putting out hundreds of thousands of pheasants and only half of them are being harvested by hunters that are paying for them. That is like alarming to me. It's alarming because we're pulling out of the general fund for a program that's clearly has its flaws, but flaws are opportunities. And I think that this predator conversation is really something that needs to come to the front of the conversation, and how do I want to say this? Predators are something that, in many ways, not only the state of Pennsylvania but even the country, we kind of were extreme 50 plus years ago, and even 100 years ago, 150 years ago, and how things were managed. For 50 years now, approximately, we've gone to the opposite side of the spectrum, where we've basically said, oh, we're not going to do anything. And I fear that we are now at a point where we've tipped the scales in a negative way, and it is astronomically impacting wildlife. It's impacting agriculture. We're sitting here talking about, well, where did the rabbits go? Where did the quail go? And now we're sitting here like kind of spinning in circles trying to figure out a solution. Well, looking at these numbers, folks, these numbers are terrible. How in the world can we justify? I can tell you right now, in the private sector, pheasants could be stalked for much cheaper than $19.50 a piece. I can tell you right now, it could be done for roughly $13. So why it's 1950, number one, I have no idea, nor do I know how they got that number to be that high. Clearly, there needs to be a really good, long and hard look at how this is being done. I mean, if this is the case, is the state's costs for raising pheasants is this high, it's clearly not. It's clearly not headed down a good path because, as I'm sure everybody's seeing, inflation is happening, and costs are going up and up and up. At this rate, if they continue to stock this many birds, the per price bird is going to go up even higher, which means they're going to have to subsidize or supplement out of the general fund even more. I firmly believe the predators need to be discussed, need to be looked at. We need to have that discussion. We need to talk about it. And when I say talk about it, it's not about eradicating any species. It's about simple and utter conservation management. All these species have an impact on the ecosystem. They have an impact on biology. They have an impact on game lands, farms, so on and so forth. If we do not look at this and acknowledge the fact that we've gotten ourselves in a little bit of a pickle here by a lack of management in the opposite regard, I think, of what it was intended to do, we need to figure out, okay, there's so many raccoons being trapped in the state of Pennsylvania. Well, are more needed to be trapped? It's an answer that biologists need to collectively put their thinking caps on. Same thing for in regards to fox, coyotes, possums. I could go right down the list. Red fox, gray fox, etc. What are the implications of trapping astronomically on the decline? Also, you got to think agricultural lands have decreased. A lot of folks I know, even in southwestern Pennsylvania, have gotten gas wells now, and they've kind of like, if their farm does operate, it's basically a hobby farm. Not to say that there aren't a lot of farms that clearly do operate for profit and for putting food on the table, but a lot of farms have either grown up, folks have gotten gas wells and moved to other states, basically taking an early retirement. It is what it is. Negative implications on, I would say habitat, etc. And it's a concerning thought when you look at the big scheme of things from a habitat perspective. But if we are not hitting the numbers that we need to hit when it comes to predators, whether that's ground or even aerial predators, we are certainly selling ourselves short in regards to conservation management. For that example, just like hawks, if you have apex predators and they're at the peak of the food chain, and there's really not much else that's going to go after a hawk, we have to manage them. You have to manage so many. I don't care if that's trapping them and moving them to other states, if that's harvesting so many annually to keep the ecosystem in balance. When you allow the predators to continually, and here's the other kicker: when you're putting out abundance of food, you're creating irregular, I would say, opportunities for them to get a meal, and with that, with extra food, and even I would say additional trees now that have grown up like never before, creating opportunities for these predators to thrive. And I know I've been talking about it. I know I've been having conversations even within the Farm Bureau about this. It's concerning to me because I've seen it. I've watched it. I've experienced it. I find it fascinating to see these types of numbers. They're basically glaring at, it's a red flag, it's a smoking gun, however you want to portray the conversation. We need to look at this, folks. I cannot stress it enough. The predator issue, whether you're talking ones that are on the ground that are going to kill your game birds, also going to kill pheasants, going to kill, I would say, any type of partridge, any type of upland bird as a whole. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, I'm sure people have seen trail camera footage of a fox or a coyote carrying a pheasant. Not only that, a lot of these are nesting predators. So when you're talking about bobwhite quail, pheasants, um, you know, these are concerning times because a lot of these predators will go and they'll just destroy a bird's nest. A lot of these birds will only nest once. Sometimes they will twice, but if you really look at it, even from a wild turkey, the hens are sitting on their nests in the spring. They're not sitting on nests in the fall. So if like the nest gets destroyed, um, it could be a whole nother year before they reproduce again. So this is where, if you just look at it simply from a turkey perspective, um, you know, there's good examples, correlations of why it's important. If you go and blow up every turkey nest in a year, the population inevitably is going to take a huge decline. And my fear is that a lot of these game birds are clearly experiencing the ramifications of what we're discussing here. When you're getting raccoons getting into their nests, even the ruffed grouse. Ruffed grouse is a ground nesting bird. A lot of people say, well, where have the ruffed grouse went? These are great conversations to have, because if the predators have tipped too much, and there are clearly other factors when you talk about habitat, etc. But when you're talking about predation, the fact that the birds can be killed, whether that's from the air, on the ground, or their nest totally destroyed, there's a lot of factors that are going against them right out of the gate, strictly from the predator perspective. Clearly, habitat has changed a lot in Pennsylvania over the past 50 to 100 years. And like I said, trapping as a whole has astronomically declined, and the open market, the free market, is probably some of the worst prices it's ever been. And now is the time where we have to look at this. I've mentioned it in past episodes. South Dakota has a ground nesting predation. It's basically a conservation program to where they know that they need to trap so many nesting predators in a calendar year to maintain a healthy ecosystem for upland birds and also turkeys, ground nesting animals. Because if you do not, the predators have a huge negative impact on the ground nests. So there's a lot that can be learned from other states as to how they're managing conservation. It's certainly not, again, I want to stress this enough, this is not about going and whether it's moving an animal or even just killing an animal to kill it. That's not the case at all. This is about conservation. Conservation is about balance. It's about understanding causes and effects. And like I said, when you look at these numbers, they are not good. I mean, they are bad. Just like I said, the management perspective alone, from what a pheasant costs, I mean, that is through the roof. I have no understanding at all, and my goal is to figure that out. But I could tell you right now, like a bird costing $19.50 is ridiculous. There's no reason it should be the case. Clearly, how do I want to say this? I don't know. It's disheartening. It's disheartening to see these types of numbers, because I feel like some of this stuff should have been nipped maybe a little bit years ago. But I'm glad that it's being discussed now, because, who the heck? Why would we want to spend almost, $4 million in a hole, and we're not addressing issues so we can get more people engaged in the outdoors? I mean, I love the idea of grouse being stalked, getting that population again, getting bobwhite quail again. I'd love to even see more rabbits stalked at the game lands. But all of this comes down to management, comes down to balance, comes down to habitat at the game lands, food at the game lands to actually draw and pull in the deer. I just feel that there's a lot of things that need to be, again, hard discussions, hard conversations, but if you do not have them, you can't fix the problems, because at the end of the day, these things are problems, but they're opportunities in disguise. Predators got to be discussed, got to be looked at, got to look at how do we manage them better. Not only the nesting predators on the ground, but also the predators, the larger predators up in the air. And these have big implications as to the causes and effects when it comes to small game. The upland birds that can not only survive but reproduce and live year to year in Pennsylvania. But I'm really glad that to see even articles like this written, they're huge. It's huge because I think it's an awareness builder. It definitely has a lot of opportunity for people to start talking and start having conversations about how can we make this better, what can we do to improve the system, how can we be more conservation minded. You know, we don't want to keep stocking hundreds of thousands of pheasants and then sitting here, I don't want to say crying the blues, but saying, oh, well, only half the birds are being harvested. Well, how are we doing it? How can we do it better? Is there better ways to stock? Are there better avenues of how to stock? Are there better ways that we can manage the game lands to hold the birds a little bit better? I mean, the simple one answer is yes, yes. All these things can be done, but when you have a problem, you have to first acknowledge that problem, so then you can start formulating solutions to make things better. But I'm excited that that again, the people are talking because going in a hole this bad, not only financially, but I would even say the negative social implications of seeing a program kind of headed down a bad path. It's troubling. But that being said, I would like to talk about the upcoming events for the Marion Outdoorsman Association. Like I said, the weather is kind of atrocious right now, and we had to reschedule our trout stalking from this Thursday to this Saturday. I know that for some that might be a little bit bah humbug, but you have to understand the streams are rather blown out right now. So instead of stalking this upcoming Thursday, we moved it to Saturday. It'll be at 9 a.m., same time, same location, Marion Outdoorsman Association, 1997, Morey Road. That is Clarksville, Pennsylvania, 15322. Saturday, April 20th and the 21st, it's our long-range hunter class. That'll be both days, basically all day. If you want any info about that, please go to our Facebook page and also our website, marionoutdoors.com. We would love to have you. Thursday, May 2nd, we're going to have another trout stalking. That'll be at 3 p.m. That'll be in preparation for the PA Trout Classic, which takes place May 3rd through May 4th. Really excited about this. All 50 slots have been filled up, so we have a full field of fishermen, and there are people from numerous states all across Pennsylvania. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be an amazing experience. Lots of smiles, I hope. Lots of big fish caught, and it's going to be an amazing time. Saturday, July 13th at 9 a.m., it's the annual MOA golf outing. I'm really looking forward to this as well. It's a collaboration with the Fayette County Farm Bureau and also the Marion Outdoorsman Association. And looking ahead right now, got a lot of habitat projects kind of on the horizon. I'm looking forward to, once this rain kind of passes and we move ahead a little bit here, it's going to take a little while for us to dry out after this. I mean, this was a heck of a rain, I must say. This is one of those, not I would even call it an annual rain. This is one of those like 2 to 3 year rains. But hey, we needed it. It'll saturate the ground. We'll get our groundwater back up to clean the streams out. For those that are fishing PA Fish Commission stock streams, hey, one thing's for sure, it'll stretch the fish out. So instead of having those fish all piled up in certain holes and in certain spots, this gives you the opportunity to kind of walk a bit and kind of enjoy, I would say, parts of the streams that maybe otherwise you wouldn't have ventured to, but I hope you will now. I can assure you of this. This will stretch the fish out. This is why, actually, when we stock, I don't really concern myself with ever. I notice that some people use boats and even floats to stock fish. We don't do that. I've learned over the years, we start in the fall and we stock monthly, and once you get a couple high water events, the fish will naturally on their own just kind of stretch out, and it's just trial and error. Figured it out enough. Hopefully, at some point, I'd love to see more fall and winter stockings across the state. I think that that's the golden goose for the Fish Commission. And when I say the golden goose, I don't mean that financially. I mean that as a mechanism to get more people engaged in fishing as a whole. I've talked about this in the past about how the Pennsylvania is an amazing fishery for cold water fish 8 to 9 months out of the year, depending on where you are. Too many times, I think a lot of these streams get stocked basically at the tail end of when it's really good, which I think is a little disheartening and troubling in its own regard. But certainly, I think we've helped at the MOA to show and highlight the fact that October to June is a fantastic time period, not just from opening day and then seeing the different streams. The trout basically plucked off very quickly. It's about, we've really highlighted the fact of enjoying fishing and enjoying the outdoors for an extended period of time, not just, somebody buying a fishing license and having that 1 or 2 days in the spring, but having many days, numerous times and opportunities for people to enjoy the outdoors. And I think that's what it's all about. It's about getting people to enjoy something they love over an extended period of time instead of it becoming such a short window. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm really looking forward to, again, seeing all the folks, not only for opening day, but seeing the folks over the remainder of the spring and into summer. Looking forward to this PA Trout Classic. I'd also like to highlight the fact that the Appalachian Pipeliners Association, which is a fantastic organization, June the 6th, that'll be our last trout fishing competition for the year. I will have more information about that specific event soon. I'm awaiting a little bit of fine details here to wrap that up, but as soon as I do, we will be publishing and talking about that. Looking forward to it. And I also wanted to mention a couple other things kind of on the horizon. We're going to be doing not only our field plantings, we recently completed orchard plantings, which I highlighted in past episodes. The field plantings will be right around the turn. Basically, we'll be starting at end of April into the first couple weeks of May. And also, we're going to be doing in June, which I'm really excited about, we're going to be doing a wetland habitat project. I'll kind of have more to tell in the future, but that's an exciting proposition. We're going to be establishing, how do I want to describe this? They do them a lot out west, but it'll be areas where we'll have like millet and like rice paddy areas that then will be flooded in the fall. High elevation locations at the Marion Outdoorsman Association to help with waterfowl habitat. So I'm really excited about that. I think that's an amazing opportunity. That's an amazing thing that I'm looking to expanding into waterfowl more and more by establishing habitat and also stock and waterfowl as well, mallard ducks. And I think that that's another thing here in Pennsylvania that if we would highlight and improve habitat, we could definitely expand our opportunities when it comes to waterfowl. If anybody wants to participate in the APA Trout contest, which is going to be June 6th, please make sure you're watching our Facebook page and also our website, marionoutdoors.com, and also Marion Outdoorsman Association at Facebook. Again, I don't have all the details for that, but I'm really excited about it because this is the second year they've done that, and last year I know was a big hit. All rules will be very similar to the PA Trout Classic, where it's artificial lures, etc., not just fly fishing only. I know last year it was, but this year we're going to expand into some other categories and different arenas for folks to, just get more fishermen on the water. And also it's an amazing network opportunity. So really looking forward to that as well. And last but not least, I wanted to mention for anybody coming to the PA Trout Classic, whether you're participating or you're coming just to view, it's on the MOA's Facebook page. We actually have hotel links for anybody that needs lodging. Also, we do have campsite spots available. Those are $20 a night. But the lodging, I want to give a special thanks to the Washington County Promotion and Tourism Agency. I couldn't say thank you enough to them. I think it's extremely important that they get the credit they deserve, because they've been a huge asset and supporter of what we're doing. But if you want to get a hotel, please make sure you utilize the codes on our Facebook page. Again, Mariana Outdoorsman Association. There was numerous hotels. We've been listing them. But you actually get approximately a 15% discount when you mention the Mariana Outdoorsman Association when you're going ahead to do the bookings, and you put that in the code of the field. So please, please, please make sure you do that. Do not spend the extra money when you don't need to. Again, we're very thankful and appreciative of Washington County, and they've been nothing but an avid supporter. And on the last note, we are doing some projects here with our event venue facilities. I'm really happy and proud and thankful for everybody that's been involved in that. We're going to start promoting heavily. We're going to be hosting big events, including weddings. So if you'd like to have additional information about that, looking to have a wedding in the future or next year or the following year, please reach out to us at 724-579-0924. You can also get information at MarianaOutdoors.com and also 10mileco.org. Again, that's MarianaOutdoors.com, 10mileco.org. Both websites will have information about hosting events, weddings, family picnics, parties, etc. But for this week, please be safe. Watch driving on these wet roads. I'm Jason White. This is Great Outdoors. Have a blessed week and enjoy opening day trout season.
Cloudy and 48 on this Wednesday. You're listening to WMBS Uniontown. It is 11 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour.